So it's always been a risk. Everything I've ever done has always been a risk because I've never really known, will I get the next visa? And it's never obvious. You can see that I've stayed in this country for so long and think it's a given. And maybe it is a given.
Yeah.
But for me, it's never clear. Like I told you when I was supposed to do my referendariat, they actually denied me a visa. For a very long time, for almost a year, I struggled to get a visa and they were telling me, no, we cannot give you a visa for this because you're not a German citizen, so you cannot do this. So I couldn't buy a house if I wanted to. Even if I have enough money, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Because you don't know if you'll stay or not.
And they also don't know if you will stay or not.
Because there are so many disadvantages that I have in this country. With the marriage, after 3 years, it was possible for me to apply to get a German citizenship. But I've always had a difficulty with that decision.
It seems to be such an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Like for me, Caro, I sing. And there's a time I wanted to go to join this German superstar. There's a time I was really serious about it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I think I was 25.
Yeah.
I was a bit younger and I really wanted to just simply apply. And do you know the one thing that kept me from being able to apply for that is my visa? Because guys, if we are honest, the German passport is one of the most powerful passports in the world.
Yes.
If you have a German, it's privilege.
Because we are living in this country.
Yes, because you're living here.
Because you're living here.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's stupid. I think when I think about it,
it is stupid.
How many years? Now 17 years? How many years I've had? And also when it comes to things like pension and all that, there's a lot of complexity that is associated with that if you're not a German citizen.
I know.
And I'm paying taxes in this country.
Yeah. Even me, I could be earning much more if I was a German citizen.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You told me the amount, and that is
I told you the amount
of money.
The amount of money that I am losing just because I'm not a German citizen. Since we started having these conversations, I am starting to really rethink some of the decisions I've made being here. It's not just for you guys. I'm realizing even for my personal life, these conversations have been really investigating, eye-openers of some of the things that I do and have done so far, and asking myself some questions. Hello again and welcome to yet another episode of your favorite conversation, Far From Home Diaspora Conversations. This is your host Wambui, and with me as usual,
Carol Mullenbrock, the other host.
And we are glad to have you yet again. And Carol, you look good today.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Yeah, thank you.
Too.
I'm feeling good.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. It's a good day.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's always nice, just sitting here and having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And these are the conversations we normally have.
Yeah.
But we are happy that you people are receiving this conversation really well, and showing us that sitting here with all these microphones and the camera, that it is worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And Carol, I realized that since we started having these conversations, I am starting to really rethink some of the decisions I've made being here. It's not just for you guys. I'm realizing even for my personal life, these conversations have been, really investigating, eye-openers of some of the things that I do and have done so far, and asking myself some questions. So we are also profiting from these conversations.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because we talk about things that will make you think deeper about the decisions you've made at some point, and asking yourself, is that decision still valid? Does it still make sense at this point in my life?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and this the conversation we are going to have today. Before we go further, I want to recognize and appreciate our sponsors, TEDx Media. Thank you for your trust and thank you for working with us. You'll hear more about TEDx Media as we go on.
Yeah.
So our topic today is about taking the German citizenship or not. The reasons why, the advantages, maybe even the disadvantages, and all the other forms of permits that we have here in Germany. Yeah. And I don't know, can you maybe tell us what form of permit you've had or you have for the last 13 years?
I have never taken the German citizenship, so I have always worked on a visa, which always means I'm always allowed to stay for a certain period of time, which is usually paired with whatever it is that I'm doing. Like when I was a student, I had a student visa. This meant that the only thing I was allowed to do in this country was to study. So it's not a work permit. I could not just choose any job I want to choose. So it has always been paired and very strictly. It's even written there. This visa is only gültig, valid as long as I'm doing this, the action that I'm doing. So right now I'm working. I have a visa that allows me to work. But it doesn't allow me now to study. So it's always...
Really?
Yes.
You're not allowed to study with this visa that you have?
It's not a student visa. It's a working visa. And it's even written where I work.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That also means you cannot work anywhere else.
I will at least have to go and do some more paperwork.
It's
not... I
can't
can't
to be allowed.
Yes. I can't just up and go and do whatever I want. I always have to inform some form of authority what I'm doing currently. Yeah.
It's very limited.
It is very limited. And of course, it's also annoying because it always runs out. So like I always have to have this at the back of my mind, and my visa is running out at this and this date. And I have to go and reapply again, pay money for it. And then wait. There's always a waiting period. And then I get a new visa. And then the whole game starts again. And it's mostly 1 year, 2 years. It's never longer. I've never had a longer... in this country, I've never been able to plan for more than 2 years because I've never had a visa that was longer than 2 years.
And I think now I can understand why you are always living like you are on transit.
Yes.
Now I understand.
Yes.
Because if you're not sure about getting the same visa or getting a permit to stay after your 2 years, you cannot make any permanent decisions.
No. So it's always been a risk. Everything I've ever done has always been a risk because I've never really known, will I get the next visa? And it's never obvious. You can see that I've stayed in this country for so long and think it's a given. And maybe it is a given.
Yeah.
But for me, it's never clear. Like I told you when I was supposed to do my referendariat, they actually denied me a visa. For a very long time, for almost a year, I struggled to get a visa and they were telling me, no, we cannot give you a visa for this because you're not a German citizen. So you cannot do this. So it's always this struggle of, will I, if I book holiday for the next, for, I don't know, the year 2025, will I still be having a visa or no?
Will I still be in Germany or not?
And also even some other decisions like buying a car. Or buying something that you need to take credit. You cannot take credit beyond the time.
They wouldn't give you a bank credit beyond the time of your visa.
Yes.
Because nobody knows if you...
Exactly. So I can never make major money decisions because major money decisions require you to be able to be here. They need to know that you will be here to pay back the money in the next 5-10 years. So I couldn't buy a house if I wanted to. Even if I have enough money, I couldn't do it.
Because you don't know if you'll stay or not.
And they also don't know if you will stay or not. So
nobody can give you that guarantee.
Nobody can give you that. That's why, Carol, like I was saying the other day in another episode, I've been buying smaller plants and also surprised from myself to actually go and buy a bigger plant. It was like one of the few permanent decisions I've made, actually.
Yeah, even, just having heavier things like a plant. Because when you have a bigger plant, it looks like home somehow. It looks like a place you're intending to stay for some time.
And it's also other decisions like buying a kitchen. You know, buying a kitchen in Germany is a money investment. It's a big investment. And a good kitchen just makes your life comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
And with a kitchen, I mean a fridge, a dishwasher,
Cabinets.
everything that belongs to it. So
There are
sometimes,
always finished kitchens that you can choose from.
yeah,
Yeah. And they are very expensive.
they are very expensive. And I've never bought myself a kitchen. So this always limits the place I can move to. Because the apartments I can move to have a kitchen. Because I never go to a house where I have to buy myself a kitchen. Again, not because of the money, but because of how long will I stay with that kitchen.
Yeah.
So I don't invest in it.
So you're investing 3,000, 5,000 euro.
Yeah.
And you don't know, maybe in 6 months my visa expires and I'm not getting a new one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Yeah, that's a problem I don't have.
What do you have?
I had, when I came to Germany, of course, I came with a marriage visa. And this marriage visa was supposed to be valid for 1 year. So I told the story in the first episodes. I don't know now which one. We are on episode, I don't even know. We are over 20 episodes. Oh, that's amazing.
I also no longer know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. My God, we made it. Yeah.
Yeah. In every case, after I came and went to the immigration, I was given something called an Aufenthaltserlaubnis.
Like
that
allowance
is a temporary,
of stay.
a temporary residence permit. So this one you have to keep on renewing. I think it was every 3 years. I don't remember that exactly, but it's not permanent. So after some time, after getting married, and I think after being in Germany for 3 years, I think, even I cannot remember that so well. I got a permanent one. So this permanent one means I don't have to renew it. There is permanency. But what I am not allowed to do is maybe go to Kenya now and stay for more than a year. I have to spend 6 months in Germany every year for it to be still valid.
But if you are a German citizen, you could stay in Kenya for as long as you wanted.
Of course.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
So why don't you get the German citizenship?
Oh,
is it like hard or?
It's very easy for me, actually.
Yeah, because you have a family,
because
right?
Not even that. First of all, after 8 years, you get it through, I think, naturalization or something like that. There are conditions that are attached to it, like you're not getting money from the government, you have a job, you're paying your taxes and all that. With the marriage, after 3 years, it was possible for me to apply to get a German citizenship. But I've always had a difficulty with that decision because I always felt like I am betraying my country, my nationality. So I'm living in this country. Everything is in this country. The only thing I have is this citizenship.
Yeah.
It's this is, and I was imagining going to Kenya and having to stay in line with the tourists because I have a German passport and not going through the gate for citizens. And that feeling was making me, I have always felt like it would take that away from me.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Because it's also, I could get German citizenship. I could have gotten German citizenship a long time ago if I wanted. But it also for me, there's this feeling of going home and not really belonging. And when you're in the diaspora, you never really belong anywhere because you don't belong in the diaspora. But when you go back home, you also don't belong there. People ask you, when will you go home?
When are you going home? Yeah,
and people here ask you, when will you go home? So you never have this home thing.
Yeah.
And I think also for me, there has been this holding on to this is mine. I belong to Kenya and nobody can take that away from me.
Yeah.
But there's also this aspect of, and I think for me, it has always been associated with shame, actually, to become a German citizen. Because when I came here the first time, I was told very often by people, get married as soon as possible and get the German citizenship. And I always told myself, I will never ever make that decision. I will somehow, I don't know if I want to prove to the world or to myself that I'm simply just gonna make it without having to get married and getting German citizenship.
Okay, I get that.
So it's like fighting against this idea of, oh, that's why you got married, because you got so you could get German citizenship. And it's as you can see, it's an outside thing.
Yeah.
It's not something that helps me. And the thing that actually made me think about this conversation, a friend of mine asked me some months back, maybe a year back, what does a Kenyan citizenship give you now? Carol, what does your Kenyan citizenship give you now?
Living here in Germany?
Even living in
Not
Kenya,
much.
is it positive for you to have a Kenyan citizenship when you are going to visit Kenya?
Not really.
Or even if I reframe the question, will you have any disadvantages living in Kenya as a German citizen?
I don't think so. When it comes to the issues of buying land and all that, there are some complications that you get if you are a citizen of another country, because I think you're not supposed to buy land alone or something like that. So, but like you, I started thinking about it because there are so many disadvantages that I have in this country with my Kenyan passport or my Kenyan citizenship than the disadvantages I would have in Kenya if I had the German citizenship.
What are some of those disadvantages? Can you tell us some?
When it comes to travel,
yes.
for example, that's a big one. That's a big one. So if I had a German citizenship, there are so many countries where I do not require a visa to go to. So what happens is, the last time I was in Egypt with the kids, I have to send my passport with money and photos and all that whole process, filling in forms and all that. Send that to the German to the Egyptian embassy. Weeks before my holiday. For my kids, because they're German, I don't have to do that. So what they do at the airport in Egypt, they just get a stamp, you pay the money, it's done. They don't have to fill any forms, they don't have to. So that has been a pain in the ass, literally. This always having to apply for visas when I want to go out of the country, going to other countries. And then I asked myself, how often am I going to these other countries and how often am I going to Kenya?
Yeah.
And also going through the airports, like with the kids, because I have the kids, I can go and line up
with your kids,
with my kids, because I cannot let them be alone. But you always have, we were talking about it, you have the European, you have this, and you have other. So we are always in the
We're always in the other line.
Other. It is not
it's not defined.
It's not defined, your other. So I'm always on that other line. And the line is, of course, very,
very long.
Very long.
Yeah.
So the question is, why not?
Yeah. And maybe some of our listeners can help us also really get into this topic, because it seems to be such an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Like for me, Kara, I sing. And there's a time I wanted to go to join this German superstar. There's a time I was really serious about it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I think I was 25.
Yeah.
I was a bit younger, and I really wanted to just simply apply. And do you know the one thing that kept me from being able to apply for that? Is my visa. Because with my visa, I could not apply for a superstar, because my visa had to be certain. It had to
validity had to be
the validity had to be longer. But otherwise, because they can't count with you.
Yeah.
They can't count on you. They can't plan anything with you. So many small things have happened. But every time I tell myself, shall I get it now? No, let me not get it. And for me, I also think on my side, pride.
Yeah. Most of it is pride.
It's really
It's just
pride. Because, guys, if we are honest, the German passport is one of the most powerful passports in the world.
Yes.
If you have a German, it's privilege. We were talking last night about the Corona period.
Yeah.
You remember how people in other countries who were German citizens, they were airlifted.
Yeah.
The
German government was picking all its citizens and bringing them back home.
Yeah. And of course, no Kenyan system ever went for anybody, you know. And even just being able to fly to wherever you want to fly, because as a German citizen, you just have the privilege of being able to visit very many countries.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. And it's not, we are not criticizing the German citizenship or the German, the country, the Kenyan citizenship or the Kenyan, being Kenyan. We are just saying having the possibility of being, getting a German passport because we are living in this country.
Yes, because you're living here.
Because you're living here.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's stupid. I think when I think about it,
it is stupid.
How many years? Now 17 years? Yeah. How many years I've had? And also when it comes to things like pension and all that, there's a lot of complexity that is associated with that if you're not a German citizen.
I know.
And I'm paying taxes in this country.
Yeah. Even me, I could be earning much more if I was a German citizen.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You told me the amount, and that is
I told you the
lot of money.
The amount of money that I am losing just because I'm not a German citizen. And nothing stops me from it. Like at this point, when you've stayed in a country for a certain period of time, I've studied here, I speak German, I know the German culture, sometimes I know the German culture more than the Kenyan culture because I've been living here as a grown-up for longer, as an adult. I've been here longer as an adult than I was in Kenya. So I understand this system sometimes better than the Kenyan system.
Yeah.
And still, so this losing money, and I remember if we had this conversation at the beginning of this year, I would have just told you, Caro, no, I'm not taking the German citizenship.
Yeah.
And it's since we've started having these conversations that I'm starting to ask myself, or even just putting this word into it, it is stupid.
Yeah, it is. I don't have, I've fought this idea for a very, very long time. And there were some things, and it also, this thing also came with my separation from my German husband. Because when you're married, you're still under this umbrella of marriage, which is protected in many ways. But then when you're not, there are so many things that fall off. Here's a quick one to tell you about our sponsors, TDX Media. I've been working with TDX Media for about 5 years now, and this has saved my life, literally saved my life. TDX Media has a way of helping you to optimize your office work. So I am a very chaotic person. My office was looking like you can imagine it. And then TDX Media came and they really helped me to optimize the processes, especially the processes of how I work, what should happen when, they came and advised me. They came and sorted out most of my files and all that, because I am not that. And then my website, it's beautiful because it is being maintained, it is being serviced by TDX Media. And then the CEO of the company, Christian Tiedemann, who does all that, comes to you, advises you, he talks to you, he listens to your needs, and then crafts everything according to how you need it, but adding his professionalism in everything that he does, such that at the end of it all, and he will not use anything he doesn't think is okay for the person visiting your website. So if your photos are not good enough, then he'll not put them in. And that is the level of professionalism that I need when I'm working with someone, so that they just don't do everything I tell them to do. They tell me, okay, it's your website, but it has my name on it. So he will not do anything that is not professional enough. And the other thing is event management. Guys, These guys are so organized. TEDx Media is so organized. They have taken control and over. They organize our African festival, which happens every year. So I have nothing to do with it. The first year I organized it myself. I almost went crazy. And nowadays I just get calls, or when we're talking, it's a yes, no, no, and I have nothing to do with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love working with these people. I love the way they, present themselves in a way that is, I will talk about professionalism the whole time, because that is what they are. They are professionals. And you see that in everything they do. When they're doing consultations with you, they are very specific in everything that they're doing. You can only be satisfied when you're working with TEDx Media. And I'm so glad that I have trusted us now to sponsor our podcast. And I've been working with them all this time, satisfied with their work. I'll continue working with them. So please visit their website, www.tedx.de. That's www.tiedex.de. Visit them, because you'll be doing yourself a favor. Thank you so much. And you are on your own. And then you start thinking, is this decision still valid? What, this pride I had, I want to remain Kenyan and because, this is, am I not being just stupid and denying myself so many things that would make my life easier just because I want to remain a Kenyan citizen? And I don't think anybody is taking that away from me. I am Kenyan. I was born in Kenya.
Yeah. There's nothing to prove.
I am black. I'll not, when I get the red passport, I'll not become white.
Yeah.
I am still.
Yeah.
But this passport, and it also, I think, because like I said, most of us are living in transit. Like this idea of I'll go back home, and then I ask myself, will I?
Yeah.
Will I? Because I have 2 German citizens here as my kids. That means at least until they are 18, I am in this country. So, and after that, they are going to study, they're doing this and this and that. And then it comes a point where they get children maybe, and I'm a grandmother. Why would I want to go to Kenya and leave my family here?
Yeah.
What is taking me back there? This is my life now, and also in the future. And I'll not tell all of them now, people, all of us now pack up.
My
we are
life
going
in
back
Germany
to
is
Kenya.
over.
I cannot do that. So will I really go back to Kenya at some point? Why don't I just allow myself to grow roots in this country?
And I think this, especially what you're saying about validity. Will I go back to Kenya? I've never, ever allowed myself to ask myself that question. It has always been a given. Of course, I'll go back to Kenya. When? We don't know. But I have always left this question untouched, as if it's sacred somehow, as if me even just thinking about not going back home, as if I'm doing something wrong. And this allowing the question, will I
Asking
really
yourself,
go back home?
honestly.
Yeah. Will I, is this something I want? Of course, there's always the things that you're told, that will never be your home, and one day they can wake up and chase you away. I don't know. Maybe they can. But
that is a bridge that is so, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah. Because some people also say when there's war, or I don't know. I've been here for 13 years. It has not happened. It has not happened.
No.
And there was a time I was told, go back to your country. And somehow I still managed to stay here. So apparently I want to stay here. Otherwise I would have gone back home.
Yeah.
Because again, there's nothing stopping me from going back to Kenya. I could go back home if I wanted. So apparently it's the wanting. I don't want.
You don't want to go back.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, the question that I never allow myself to ask. Do I really want that? And also the question of, is this decision still valid? I think maybe there's a time it was still valid.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
And when it was valid, then it was not stupid. Because maybe there are some of you who are in that space where it's still valid to go back home. It doesn't necessarily have to be stupid. But in our case right now, where we are right
we
now,
are talking about our
case. Is it still valid? And I also thought, I have also never asked myself, never given myself the option of, even if, let's say, I get tired of Germany, there are all these, it happens to me at least once a year when it starts getting wintry and cold and things get tough and job gets boring and tiring and the taxes and the loneliness. Sometimes I feel like, why am I in this country again? Can somebody remind me what I'm doing here? Because sometimes I go back to that decision. Am I supposed to be here? But I've never allowed myself to think I could also go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've never given me this possibility to be a citizen of this world, to choose.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
You can go to Atlanta because that was...
Guys, let me tell you a story about Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta and I went to visit my best friend from high school. She was the best thing that ever happened to me in high school. She was there. She was honest. She had deep conversations with me and I just loved her. I still love her today. And so the last month I went to visit her. I flew to Atlanta to visit her. And guys, Atlanta is beautiful. You can actually buy sugarcane at the supermarket. I think I made a picture. Miwa. Yeah. You can buy miwa. You can buy ndoma, means arrowroot. You can buy mangoes. In a normal supermarket. You just walk past them. You can buy mudokoi, terere.
Oh my God.
I was walking through the supermarket and my friends will know this. They were like, I was just like, oh my God, is this terere? Oh my God, is this sukuma wiki? Oh my God. And it was just such a beautiful place to be in. And then there were so many Black people. This, again, is something else that happens, at least to me, where I live. I rarely see Black people. And, being in Atlanta and seeing Black people running the show, their mayor is Black. They are successful people, unsuccessful people. The world is full of Black people. And for me, it was such an amazing feeling to just be part of, to not stand out in any way. I was just part of this whole system, this whole community. I could buy food that I relate to home. It was warm. And I thought, maybe this could also be home.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be home.
Yeah.
It can be, this is actually an option. And I remember I told Caro, I'm not coming back.
I was like, what? What are you talking about? I'm seriously considering.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll talk when you get here.
Yeah.
But that I understand what you mean. It doesn't have to be go back to Kenya. It can be
anywhere else.
Yeah. And for you, you're not tied to anything. You know,
there's no family. There's nobody.
You don't have kids. You don't have a relationship. Where you say, I have to stay here for this person. It could be anywhere.
I could actually go anywhere.
And the thing is, with a German passport.
And this is now the funny thing, Caro. If I had the German passport and looked for a job in Atlanta, it would have been easier for me to get a job.
Of course.
Than with the Kenyan passport.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's also another that I was asking myself. And we had this conversation with my friend. Why?
Yeah.
Why have I never taken the German passport? Because of pride.
Yeah.
Because of pride of nationality. And I think it's okay.
And it's maybe it is a valid feeling.
It is.
Because we want to have this sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And this gives you a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
I am Kenyan.
Yeah.
But I think you are Kenyan, regardless of which passport you have.
Yeah. It's a political decision.
Kenyan. Yeah.
But I've made it emotional.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which makes it so difficult because politics and emotions don't work together. They don't go together well. And attaching my emotions to this decision of becoming German has made me now lose on so many other different kinds of things that will in turn help my emotion. Because we are politics. Everything is politics.
Yeah.
And the decision to become German is very political. It has nothing to do with who I am. But where I am.
You are.
I know who I am. And I think it has also taken that, the more I realize who I am, the more it's easier for me to let go of the outside, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because
You
there are all these
are.
defining things.
Mm,
I've had so many things that define me. My hair, I've used my hair a lot for my own definition, and I love my locks. But the other day I was thinking, I no longer need that
mm.
to
To
show my
define.
blackness, to define that I am a black natural woman. I don't need that
Yeah.
anymore.
Mm.
But there's a time this decision was
Was
so
so,
shaky.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
needed a lot of outside things that show,
To display who you are.
yes, yeah,
Display
yeah,
on the outside.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's very shaky inside.
Very shaky
Very
inside
shaky. That is
because
why when you're not sure, when you're not solid inside, you always need this
outside,
things
yeah,
to show people this is who I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also to show myself,
Yeah. To reflect your image on the mirror.
yeah.
Yeah.
And and it's okay because I think it's a process. When you
It is a
come to the
journey. Yeah.
diaspora, your identity will be shaken to the core,
Oh yes.
whether you
Yeah.
want it or not. Everything about who you think you are is
It's
shaken.
shaken.
Yeah.
It's shaken. Yeah.
And you rethink everything. You rethink your decisions.
Yeah.
You rethink
Yeah.
your decisions, major fundamental decisions. Who do I want to spend my life with? Do I want to have kids or not? How much money do I want to buy a house or not? These are fundamental decisions that are really, if you had stayed in Kenya, your path is basically clear for you because the society has made the way clear for you. The
Yeah.
path is
Yeah.
always clear when you're home. When you leave home and decide to stay somewhere else, the path is just, you no longer know what is the path. And then you have to be okay with who you are. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah. And I understand people who come to this land and say, I'm staying here for 10 years, I invest back home, or I study and then I go back home. I understand and I respect such decisions because that is a very personal thing. And I wouldn't criticize that in any way because Kenya is also a nice place to live in.
It
If you
is.
have money
Yeah.
and you're doing well and you have this sense of community but more and more as I continue living in this country, I am realizing that not now, not in the next 10 years, it's not an option for me to go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
So why am I preventing myself from, like I said, letting my roots spread deeper into the ground? And that is also a question of taking a German citizenship.
Yeah.
And like we said, it would have so many advantages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. Like even when I actually wanted to go to Atlanta in summer, but I couldn't go in summer. Well, again, because of the visa issues, because it was so unclear. Because like I told you, my visa was running out and I wasn't sure, will I be given a new visa? And for me to be able to apply for a visa for Atlanta, I had to have a visa for Germany first. So there's always this long process of doing things, and it always takes so much time, and you have to travel to Berlin, to whatever. Like on that one, I had to travel to Frankfurt.
I remember you woke up so early in the morning.
I had to sleep at my friend's place to be able to get there on time. If I had been a German citizen, I would have only gone to Düsseldorf. That would have been enough
to get a visa there.
Yeah. So we are talking money, we are talking about resources, we are talking about time.
And we are talking about travel a lot because that is the most tangible thing you have all the time. Travel. But there are so many other things that revolve around that decision.
Yeah.
And also what it does with yourself.
Yeah.
It makes you even feel more like you are home here.
Yeah.
I am now a citizen of this country.
Yeah.
And it's not like everybody will see you that way. You still remain this black person. And we can debate about, you'll always be an immigrant and you'll always be. And you can choose to look at it from that perspective. But you can also choose to look at it from the other perspective, what it does to you and not what it takes away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And really, for me, it has really helped me to look at it as a political decision, not identity. If I need a paper to show me what my identity is, then I still need to do a lot of work in myself. Because this paper, even being a Kenyan citizen doesn't say anything. Like, I am a Kenyan citizen now, but I did not vote. So how did that? And I will not even want to vote in Kenya, because how am I making a political decision in Kenya when I'm not living there? I cannot tell you if this president is good or not.
Understand.
No.
It will just be, There's a lot. Yeah.
I would just be making a point. Even if I would vote, I will depend a lot on what people are saying, because I will not have a valid decision to make, because I do not live there. But I cannot vote here where I actually live, because I'm not a citizen. And this is where so political decisions actually affecting
me. You.
Yeah.
So there you're voting for decisions that affect, of course, family and all that. And maybe that's important. But like, from our conversation last time, when you come to thinking about you and things that are affecting you at the moment
now,
with your life
today.
now, which includes the life of my kids, which is not separate from mine, because these
especially
are my people.
Kids.
There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I cannot even say like you, like, now we are moving to Atlanta. We could make that decision as a family, and that would include their father too, because they have a father. It's no longer about me.
And
and
become a we.
It is a we decision. And when it becomes a we, it's not just something you can wake up and decide, tomorrow I'm going. I cannot even decide I'm changing states just to go and live in another state. No. So I don't know about you. What is your feeling at the moment where we are now? What do you think about?
I think the more I've thought about it, I've also asked myself the question, is it like I feel like I have no right to apply for the German citizenship? Like, am I allowed to go for it? Do I even, is this something that I'm allowed to do? But at this point where I'm standing right now, I am getting myself the German citizenship. At least I will start the process and see where it takes me. And even just that thought of, yes, I am going to accept this place as my home. Because in reality, it is my home.
It is your home.
Yeah.
That is where your body is.
It is my home.
Yeah.
And when I was in Atlanta, I kept saying, I'm going back to Germany. And at some point I said, I'm going back home. Because it is home.
Yeah.
So why do I keep saying, I'm going to Germany, I'm going to Krefeld, I'm going to Cologne, I'm going to Berlin? I never tell myself I'm going home.
You don't own it.
I don't own it. I don't allow myself. So it's not even people telling me, you don't belong here. It's me telling myself, I don't belong here. Because I associate my Kenyanness, my skin color, just the way from outside it's not accepted. I also don't accept it. I deny myself the possibility of making this very lucrative political decision, because I think I don't have a right to do it. Yeah.
And I've sat in that immigration office, I think thrice. This lady knows me. So I go there and I get angry every time I was looking for a visa to go somewhere. There's a time I remember I was going to England and I was at the embassy in Dusseldorf, and I was late because I was in traffic and I had to change the appointment online, and it was 2 weeks later, and then I missed my flight because the visa came later than I had already booked the flight, and I was so angry. And I was thinking, my husband had to go alone to England without me. And it was so annoying. I was like, I'm getting the German. And I went to her and I was sitting in her office, and it was the second time. And I was asking her, has it come to that point where I can take? I was always waiting for dual citizenship. That is what I was waiting for. Yeah. I was always, I always told myself, when it comes to dual citizenship, I'll do it. Then I can still hold on to my Kenyan one. And I was sitting there and she was telling me, from Mrs. Mimimbrock, it's still not possible. Yeah. And she gave me the files the second time and told me, just take them with you. if you feel comfortable at some point, you can fill them up. But I still think you're not ready. She told me that because she could see how hesitant I was. Yeah. When I was driving there, I wanted to do it. I was like, done. But then, and
There
I
was
have
still
everything it
reservation.
takes.
Yeah.
You know, I have, my language is good. I have a job. I pay taxes, and there wouldn't be anything to stop me
you.
from it.
Yeah.
And then I went for the third time. I think that was about 4 years ago. I was sitting in that office again, and I was still, no. Let me take the papers with me. And she told me, you still have the others for the last time.
They're still the same.
It's still the same. It's still the same process, still the same, forms to fill. And I said, I think I'll fill them. And I took them home. Of course, I didn't. But where I'm standing now, I think I'll start that process. That is my feeling for now. And I think it's not changing because I have written the pros and cons. And the pros are this long and the cons
are very few.
This emotional thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that is taking my Kenyanness away from me.
No.
Nothing.
Who will take Waithera away from you?
Nobody.
Who will take the Moshene away from you? No one can take Moshene.
And I'm giving you Moshene from this guy. Yeah. These are the things I have to give you Moshene about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we doing this then?
I think so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Why
I
not?
think we'll do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're out there and you have not done this journey, so Wambo is talking about 13 years, I'm talking about 17 years. If you're not ready, don't feel pushed.
Don't feel pushed.
Just think about this in a very sober way. That's what I would tell somebody.
Yeah.
Think about, remove the emotions for a minute and think about it in a very sober way. What am I getting out of this? And what does that do to me? If you're staying in this country for 5 years and going back home, or planning to pay for 10 and go back home, that's okay. You don't need it. But if you're staying in this country, I think it makes much more sense.
It does. And let's tell ourselves the truth.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Look at you. Sometimes I tell myself, this is the truth. Maybe you're not yet there to accept it.
You can fight it.
You can fight it
all you want.
Like the way you like saying, if you fight with reality,
you lose.
You lose.
All the time.
And this is my reality.
Yeah.
I'm running to the authorities every time to go get a visa. And I don't have to.
Yeah.
There's a time I had to do that. There's a time I didn't have enough qualifications to get a German visa. So it was okay.
Yeah.
But now I do. And I have been able to do that for quite a while now. So it is... if I tell myself the truth about the situation right now, it's actually me being lazy. And also, pride. Pride of losing my Kenyanness. And of course, I can still sing Daima Mimim Kenya.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like if I lose my Kenyan citizenship, will I now be able to start and sing Daima Mimim Kenya?
Yes.
Can I do that? Can I really do that?
Of course you can. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. You are a true Kenyan and we remain Kenyan and nobody's taking that away from us. That's what I think. My kids ask me why, when we were going through authorities, it is very fresh because we were in Egypt the other day and everything was different and how everybody was handling me and they were taking my passport and going with it inside and,
scrutinizing you. My God.
Wow, the German passports, they were looked at and then they take mine and look at me and look at it. Then they go inside, they call the boss, and then they look, and then they take, and then they come, they look at me, and they look here, and and my kids were asking me, why? I told them, I have a Kenyan passport.
Yeah.
And then when we were going through the gates, I told them, why I gave birth to you? It's so that I can have this
the
privilege of going through the German
defined
gate.
Visas, not the other.
Yeah, not the other. Now I'm going through EU passports, but it's a pain in
the ass.
We don't need that. I think I'll do it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I will actually start the process.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
I'll also keep you posted.
Yeah. So guys, you do let us know, how is this process for you? And like we said, don't feel pressured, don't feel like we are judging you.
Yeah.
This is us really telling each other and ourselves the truth. And do tell us, the people who have a German citizenship, have you ever regretted this decision?
Yes, that
will interest
that
me.
would interest me too.
Yeah.
Just knowing, is it something you regret after you did it?
Yeah. Do you have some disadvantages where you say, oh, I wish I hadn't done this?
That would interest me.
Yeah.
Really, to know from, and I know quite a number of people who have the German citizenship. Please do write.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we go,
what?
The hot seat question. I am the one asking it today.
Well, you've already asked all the bad questions. I don't think you can top that one.
Really?
What else would you ask? We've already done sex. We've already done self-fornication.
One boy.
What else? What else can you do, Caro? Unleash your worst.
Hey, this woman is joking with me. This she does not know me and how malicious. And so, one boy.
Okay, don't unleash your worst. Have mercy.
You just told me, just so confident. There's nothing you can do that will shake me. Tell me, one boy.
God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Have you ever kissed a woman?
What?
You said nothing worse can come.
What? Why will you ask that now?
Because I want to know.
What if I say no?
If it's your truth, I'll accept it. But is it your truth?
Carol, do you know how often people have sent me to hell? You.
Yeah, but you're
They've
still
even
here.
written it.
But you're still here, one boy. You're not in hell. And this is also not sending you to hell.
Oh, God, Jesus.
I love this. You pushed me to that. I had another question for you. But you sitting here and telling me what worse can come. There is.
And now I believe you. Can you please ask another one? Now I believe you can be malicious.
I thought you knew that much. I thought before you told me. What is. Before you told me that, I really had another question for you. Honestly. But then I thought, at you.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Jesus.
If you're not comfortable answering that question now, that is okay.
But people will now start thinking I have kissed a woman if I don't answer it. People will tell themselves now a story that is even worse than the probable story.
Then tell your
true
story.
or not true.
Then tell your story if you want to. And you know, we said with these hot seat questions, we said there's the option of answering it, but when you answer, you have to be honest. It has to be an honest answer, so we are not lying. Or saying, I'm not ready to answer this question now, and maybe it will come later, and that is also respected. There's that option. So, do you want to let people tell themselves the story?
Okay. I have kissed a woman.
Okay.
But I will not say how, cheek or lips or forehead. I will not say how. And I will also not say why. And I will also not say under what conditions. But I can say I'm not a lesbian. So before you tell yourself that story, no, I'm not.
Which would not be a
I
problem.
wouldn't mind being a lesbian.
Yeah, it is not. It is. If you were.
If I were, it would make my life easier, to be honest. I have had very many women asking me out. Good-looking women.
Really?
I have that a lot.
More women than men?
No.
Okay.
Not more women, but many women.
What's wrong with me? I've never had a woman ask me out.
Maybe because of how I look. I've always been a tomboy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my facial structures sometimes, like, even when I was in high school,
Mm.
there was always that flair of, I don't know, some manliness. Well, not manliness. I don't know. There was always that flair of, I never felt very feminine, of course, because I also always had smaller boobs than other girls. So I always thought, oh, maybe I'm more like a boy. Well, I don't know. So I have that flair, and I think, and I'm also tall. So sometimes I do get some women.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
I am tall, dark, and handsome. Yes. So I've had some women coming to me, and it was always white women who asked me out. But I've also had 2 black women who have asked me out.
Yeah.
And actually, one black woman actually also asked me if she could kiss me.
Okay.
But I said no because of
so that was not
because
the
of the conditions. That was not the case.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did kiss someone around 9 years ago.
9 years ago. So you are
It's a
here
long
in
time
Germany.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that honest answer.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And you will catch me next time.
That is, you remember the question you asked the other time in that other episode? You don't have to go back to that episode. I will not even say which episode was that, because she is also not the nicest person when it comes to hot seat questions. Well, yes, we've come to the end of this.
Yes. I'm looking forward to what people will be writing. Oh, people send me to hell. You will see.
And by the way, and I can also speak for Wamboi, we are 2 people who are very, very, what word do I use? We have no problem with somebody being gay, somebody being lesbian, somebody being...
No.
And this is something, and I have been cremated on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I was, because I wrote something about, just a person is a person and they are born the way they are, and these are not choices they make. Because one boy kissing a woman did not make her lesbian.
No. And if I had been a lesbian, I would have actually just gone for it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel evil.
Yeah. And if there's somebody doing anything to children, they're child molesters. They are pedophiles.
Yeah.
It does not. It has nothing to do with the sexuality itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just bad humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're lesbian, if you're gay, you are entitled to your feelings and to love just like everybody else.
Yeah. So we are not homophobic here.
We
don't believe that gay people are going to go to hell.
No.
And this is what we believe in. So if you carry the idea of gay people will go to hell,
that's bullshit.
We think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah. Regardless of what even the Bible says, because some people will start quoting the Bible now for us.
I know.
Oh,
the Bible verses. Oh,
yes. But we don't care.
Yeah.
Kweli. Now, I have to be honest, and I don't really care. I'm just saying my honest truth.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
You can hate
Send
me.
us to hell.
Send us to hell if you want.
Yeah.
But we are...
Thank God you're not God.
We are standing with this decision. But we know you love us.
Yeah.
So
and there are many people who are not like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's important to say it once in a while.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of homophobia. And honestly, it gets on my nerves.
And also for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, the way you speak and your son could be gay. The last time I said that in Kenya at home, I was like, ashidwe. No. It could happen. Don't tell me shidwe, because they don't choose it for themselves.
Yeah.
That's the way just the way I fall in love with a
man
is the same way a lesbian person will fall in love with a woman.
Yeah.
And they cannot imagine being with a man.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
And that is how they were born. It's the same God who created them.
Yeah.
So don't come with the bullshit of ashidwe. So see you next week.
See you next week. We love you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe. See you. We go and eat now. I even forgotten about food. Bye.